So in this video here, I'm going to show you what it means to be linear. And so let's get started. So if you want to know if something is linear, basically the x and y values increase or decrease at a constant rate, which means that they increase or decrease at the same rate. Or basically the x are moving in the same amount and the y's are moving in the same amount. And that's what we call a linear pattern. And so linear equations have what we called a constant slope or rate of change. So in this example here, it says, given the table, determine if it has a linear pattern. What you need to do is figure out what's the pattern for x and figure out what's the pattern for y, and is it the same throughout the chart. So in this case, let's use this as a quick example. So from 1 to 2, it looks like it's adding 1. From 2 to 3, it's also adding by 1, and 3 to 4, it's adding by 1. So I can definitely say that the x's are moving at a constant rate because it's adding by 1 every time. That's the pattern. For the y's, it looks like it went from -2 to 0, so it looks like it's also adding by 2 this time. And then 0 to 2, it's adding by 2, another adding by 2. So because the x's all stayed the same and the y's all stayed the same as it increased, this is what we call, so we can say, yes, this is a linear function. Or this is linear because the slope is constant or the rate of change is constant. So in this case here, I do want to mention that the x and y's don't have to follow in the same pattern. We account them separately, but they need to be the same throughout. Like the x's all need to be the same and the y's all need to be the same. So now let's check out this one. This one's in a horizontal table. But again, we're going to check the x's and make sure they follow in a same pattern. So from 2 to 4, you're adding by 2. From 4 to 6, you're adding by 2. From 6 to 7, hang on, that's adding by 1, and so is 7 to 8. So we know that because x already failed, this can't be linear. But let's just go ahead and check for y, just so that we get the extra practice. So from 0 to 10, it's -10. From -10 to -20, it also dropped another, or -10, right? From -20 to -30, it's subtracted by 10. And then it subtracted another 10. So the y stayed all the same, but the x didn't stay constant. It wasn't the same number every time when it added. So in this case, you have to say no. Let me write that up here. So no, it's not linear because the slope is not constant. And remember, the slope is made up of x's and y's. Remember that slope formula? Well, it has x and y's in them. So if the x's are not staying the same every time, that's going to affect the slope. So that's it, guys. Now that you have looked over these videos, make sure you check out the homework check and try out the problems that are down below. Bye, guys.